All right, ladies, good morning and welcome back to Tuesday Talks with Teena, a weekly intentional fitness-focused self-care. Each week, we're taking inventory on our current habits and developing consistent routines to reach our health and fitness goals during our lunch break. So this week, we're going to be talking about how to say no to what is not serving you. But before we get into all that, we got a couple of housekeeping things to take care of. Get to the next screen. So I am your host, Teena Cathay. I am a business owner, a certified personal trainer and coach, currently serving in the Air National Guard. And I am a big advocate for women finding balance. Now, a couple of disclaimers. I am certified. However, I am not a medical professional. So before you start any new fitness routine, I do advise that you consult with your primary care provider prior to starting anything new. And our funding disclaimer, funding for this initiative is provided in part by Mission Ambition LLC and Teena Cathay Lifestyle LLC. Also, we have many military women participating in the series thanks to Michigan Department of Health and Human Services through the Community Mental Health Association of Michigan. They're providing additional funding for this initiative through a federal community mental health block grant and a substance abuse prevention and treatment block grant supporting Women Veterans Strong. A few guidelines. We do ask that you be respectful to others and yourself, no selling or soliciting, and then do not judge anyone else or yourself. All right, so what did we talk about last week? We talked about how to stop overeating. We discussed why overeating hinders your fitness goals, and we talked about tips for portion control, counting our macros or counting calories. Those are just a couple of ways that you can keep yourself from overeating. And then we also discussed mindful ways to stop overeating. So that video is posted. So if you want to go check that out, it is up. Actually, correction. I actually am going to re-record the video and then I'll post it. And if you're subscribed, you'll get that notification because it was technical issues. So got to get that together. All right, let's get into our first lesson. We're going to talk about following up on our vision boards, just kind of checking in and see how you are with that, if you're still using that or not. If you're not, that's absolutely okay, because the whole point is to find different things that work for you as far as tracking your consistency with your health and wellness, be it your nutrition or your fitness. And today is going to be a little bit different. I definitely want you guys to chime in because there's questions placed throughout this lesson just to check in and revisit and reevaluate all that good stuff. So do you guys remember we did vision boards during week 4? So it was about the first month. We did it in December, right before the new year, which is a big time for people to do the vision boards because they're prepping for the new year, new goals, all that good stuff. But today I want us to revisit our aspirations and our goals, check in with ourselves to see how we are doing. I want you to document that as well, because if there are areas where you're lagging a little bit that you want to improve, let's talk about doing that now. Maybe bounce some ideas off each other and see how we can improve on those things. And then also the visualization part of it. Is that helping you? So the whole point of that vision board was for you to see your goal, have it right there in front of you. And so that way you can see it and remind yourself, hey, this is my why. This is the goal that I'm trying to reach. And it's supposed to give you a reminder, because if it's out of sight, it's out of mind, and you might fall back into those habits that are not going to help you reach your goals. So with that being said, let's talk about it. Do you guys still have your vision boards? And are you using them? Yes, Sue, love it. Nice. So you got that visualization going. So the follow-up question then, is that helping you? Thank you for sharing it. Nice. Oh, and it looks like you added to it too, right?
Yeah, I started it, and I started it the week that you had it in our lesson plan. And I basically just cut a bunch of stuff up and threw it in an envelope. And then my girlfriend invited me up north, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna bring some stuff to do a vision board. So she was kind of a little reluctant and everything. And then I'm like, come on, because I got last year's on the back, and then I got this year's on the front.
I love
So
that.
yeah, and so I was going back to my last year one, and I have a passion for the city of Detroit. My son kind of got me started on it. And so I've been wanting to create a military community in Detroit because that's where our largest population is. So that was one of my biggest goals for last year. And I did not get a group in Detroit started yet, but I made some awesome contacts. And I was working in Wayne County for 4 months too, which encouraged that. But I like having it both on the same thing. But my girlfriend, once she got started, and Laura, you have to remember this too, just the first time you put a thing down on that board and you start cutting stuff out, it's like I couldn't stop. And that's how my girlfriend was too. And I was just like really excited for her. And she pulled it out a couple times when we were up north. And she goes, yeah, mine's a little bare. I go, yeah, mine's a little bit squashed. Like I got a lot of stuff there. But anyways, it was something creative that really, I think, inspired me, to do some other things. And I bought a sewing machine. So I've been doing sewing. And I'm like, that was a really big part of my life that I was like missing. And it encourages me to do other stuff too. So
I like that. I'm glad that you've added to it. And I really like the idea because I don't think I've ever seen that before, where people do like 1 year, the previous year on the back, and then the front is the current year. I really like that idea because then you can kind of go back. So it's okay if you didn't mark off anything for the previous year, you can still go back to and say, hey, I can just use it. I still have it in vision, like in front of me. And then you can try to reach that goal the next year, which is really awesome. And then sometimes some of these goals are long term, but we're wired to be short term people. Everything has to happen within the next 3 weeks, 3 minutes. So we want it to be quick, but life doesn't happen that way. So if you do have something on your board and it's been 2 months and you haven't reached it, but just know that the fact that you're looking at it, the fact that you're taking those micro mini steps towards it, you're going in the right direction. It would be one thing if you were just stagnant and not doing anything. You just have this goal and you just let it sit there. So that's awesome. I really like that. I'm gonna have
I
to do
like
that.
the word aspirations. To me, goal, like the word goal, just kind of like it's like the word test. It's like it just kind of like it has a negative connotation in my life. So tests and setting goals have not been like something I look forward to per se, but I like the aspirations because this is what I would like to see transpire this year, or these are the thoughts and things that, are in my head right now. So anyway.
Yes.
I just want to jump in on that word about the aspirations versus the goals also. So, because I had a physician appointment yesterday and it was like, well, it is a review of all sorts of stuff. And even to the point of like, okay, so what are your goals for this year? What are your goals? It's like, well, crap, I don't hell know. I don't ever have a friggin' ass goal. What would I like to do? Well, all right. Yes, I would like to have more activity. I want happiness and, more activity and exercise more and travel. So these are aspirations of what I would like to do. I like that thought there too. not as like, I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's why I put that there, because goals does seem very daunting. It's like, oh, what are my goals? And you kind of get paralyzed by that word. So that's why I'm glad you guys pointed that out. And I like the feedback that you like that word better, because I use that word a lot. Like, what do you aspire? Like, what do you want to do? And goals is like, I don't know. So good point. Good point. So with that being said, we're going to go into our journaling prompt. What has been realized through your vision board process? You might have discovered something new about yourself that you didn't realize before. It could be a like, it could be a dislike, it could be something new. You might have tried new things through using that vision board and challenge yourself a little bit. So all of that is good, just to take that inventory on who you are, because each year you're going to change, you're going to grow, and that's what we want to do. So let's take the 2 minutes now and just write that down. What have you realized through your vision board process? Alrighty. What have you realized through your vision board process? Who would like to share?
I started with, through my vision board process, I realized some aspirations that I've accomplished in the past that help me see and realize how to move forward, regardless of the goals or aspirations that I didn't complete. So I think if I go back to like the beginning of my life when I was actually old enough, or, you know, even thought about setting goals or what I wanted my future to look like, or what I wanted my story to be. I'm very proud of some of the goals. Like one of them was I started teaching and I wanted to work with babies. And so I worked with the largest students because I taught special ed. So I worked with like 20 to 26-year-old adults in a school like setting. And that was really difficult, but I was 18. And so my goal was to work with the babies eventually and the teachers that took care of the babies. And so I was able to get that position. And then when I got in that position and I learned about the school district and what I wanted to do, I continued to like transfer or get into another classroom to learn and be more challenged. And my final goal was to retire at the school for adult experiences. And it was for older adults that were able to go to work and teach them and take them out and teach them employment skills. And so that's kind of how I wanted my career to end, was at that school. And that's exactly what happened. And it wasn't like, I don't want to say that I had total control of it, but just the thoughts. And like, I didn't have a vision board back then, but this vision board just helps me realize some of the possibilities that I could grab a hold of that, may seem impossible at the moment, but like I put, some of my trips and things that I want to do, and I want to learn how to take care of plants better, and, all these little things that I didn't have time for when I did work. So anyways.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. You just see, like you said, the possibilities are endless. Next lesson. Letting go of unhealthy habits. So, what are your triggers? That's one of the things that can get us into trouble because we tend to keep those triggers around or easily let them hinder our goals. And triggers can be anything. They can be people, they can be a food, it can be a place, it can be a smell, it can be anything. I'll use myself as an example. So a trigger for me is lack of sleep. Once I am tired, and I'm a night owl, so usually I'm good with staying up. But once I get to that point where my body's like, okay, it's time to shut it down and go to sleep, I'll use food to stay up instead of going to bed. And so that's a trigger for me. My body is trying to shut itself down because it needs rest. And I know that I'm not effective anymore or efficient because my work, how you start typing or you're writing and it just gets jumbled. That's me. I'll literally try to fight through that, knowing nothing is making sense. I'm not really writing anything, or I don't know what I just read, but I'll like, oh, maybe I'm hungry. Let me go get a snack when I should just take my butt to bed. So that's a trigger for me. Not listening to my body when it needs sleep and then using food to stay up longer instead of going to sleep, which can in turn hinder my goal of trying to lose weight or get my stomach flatter because I'm going over my calories at that point. So that's no bueno.
I'm right there with you, sister.
You understand? You understand? One of the things that we can do to stop ourselves from succumbing to these triggers is prep the future you for times when motivation is low. If you need to stay up or you want to stay up, grab something that's lower in calories, something that's healthier and will not take you over your calorie or your macros or take you away from reaching that goal. And then also give it time. Every day is not going to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. The goal is not to be perfect at all by any means necessary. It's just about trying to figure out yourself and looking into the future and trying to counteract that. So if we all night owls here. So if we know that we're going to stay up late, maybe have that snack, that healthier snack of option available if you are going to stay up a little later. So then that way you're not grabbing something too heavy or too high in calories and whatnot. Also, if you fell off a workout routine, maybe prep yourself for the next day, put those workout clothes in your gym bag, put the gym bag in your car so you don't forget it. Or something that I heard someone do when they leave out the house, if they have a lot of errands to run, they'll already have on their workout clothes. So then that way I'm already out and about. Oh, I'm done running my errands. Let me just go to the gym instead of having to come home and then change. Because for me, once I come home, I'm like, I don't want to go back outside, especially in the wintertime. So to eliminate all of that, you kind of have to think ahead.
Yeah, I actually had a revelation because, I stay up late at night and I had this revelation. I'm like, well, what do you already have in place? And this is what I've been trying to do since I retired, is I've been trying to pair things. And like you had mentioned it too, you just put it in a different wording. But I'm like, what have I already been successful at doing? And getting up and doing a morning devotional has been like a huge goal of mine, and I've completed it and I continue to do it since like 2017. So I'm like, okay, I want to get back to yoga. So I'm like, just getting my yoga mat out, and I threw it on my floor in my bedroom right by my prayer chair. And I'm like, well, there's your reminder. You can sit there and look at it and long for starting yoga back up again, or you can just start doing it. And I found a little 7-minute thing. So now I can fold my yoga mat up. I don't have to roll it all the way up and push it in front of my yoga chair. So that's my reminder to, hey, this is something you want to do. So pair it with something you've already been successful with. And so I've done it 3 days so far.
Perfect.
Get my weights out. I got 3-pound weights. I could just put those on the dresser, and instead of letting them sit there, okay, let's do something. I got both of them back together. Yeah, them in 2 different spots, but that's just an example. Exactly the same. You do as you mentioned, put them together, and I can see where I could do with my at nighttime and putting your foods, prepping them and having them out there ready. Ideas of what you're going to put the yogurt with what, and so forth and so forth. And
Mhm.
that's not going to, there's not going to, but you have it available and go that way instead of reaching for, which I don't have cookies around anymore right now upstairs. You have to go search for them. So I don't have them up here. So that's good stuff. That's it.
Right. So let's go into our next journal prompt. What habits are you holding on to that are not serving your goals? I want you to be 1,000% honest with yourself. I have some, and it's the staying up late that is not helping me. So that's one for me. So write yours down. We're going to take 2 minutes, start taking that inventory, and then we will come back and share. Another minute. All right. What habits are you holding on to that are not serving your goals? Who would like to share?
The habits that are holding on to would be um, staying up too late and not getting, because I need to sleep and be rested for the next day, from reading articles on my phone that I've highlighted. Okay, I want to come back to this. And then you're reading them when you really need to kind of go to sleep. Or I got this silly game I play on the phone. It's like, no, you got to stop this, Laura, and just go to sleep. So, that's something that's become with the phone that I'm doing at night before I should be going to bed, when I should be sleeping. I used to read a book and sometimes you'd fall asleep with it. Well, I don't fall asleep with the game per se, but so that's for interaction. And I need to stop that portion so I can get the rest that I need, especially when I got to be up in the morning, because then it's a vicious circle. Another part is over scheduling my days, that I want to achieve more. But in the end, I look at all of it and I get frustrated. And then I go, I can't do this. So I just give up. And then I go back to whatever else I'm procrastinating with on something else and playing a game and doing this or doing that. And therefore I get madder at the end of the day. So it's that cycle that's there that needs to be stopped. So, because it's not helping me to lose the weight. It's not helping me to get the exercise. It's not helping me to go take a walk, or plan to take something with a friend and go someplace and such. So it requires activity and interaction. So that's with other people. So there's things I got to change. That's it.
Thank you for sharing, Laura. Or you can also limit yourself to a certain amount of articles. Say, hey, I'm only going to do 1 or 2 articles. After this, I'm going to bed.
Good
So
ideas.
that way you're not overdoing it.
Yes, good ideas.
And then as far as your overscheduling your day, try prioritizing that and only give yourself like maybe 2 to 3 things to do within your day. And if you do anything outside of that, that's a bonus. Maybe just start with 1 and you accomplish it, because then there's that gratification. You accomplish that 1 thing, and then, hey, I got time in my day to do another 2 to 3 things, and then go from there instead of having like 10 things in the day.
Right. I could go to the rest of my list, the next thing on my list.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Do 1 thing and then just say, hey, I'm going to accomplish this 1 thing today. After that, you accomplish it. I got time. Go to the next thing.
Read this. I put late night snacking, overeating, not placing my food into my app to track calories, finding a healthy alternative to chips, and not eating enough calories during the day, then craving carbs or food at night. So, I can't even tell you how much I can relate to what you had said, Teena. That's probably one of the things. And my husband and I are not drinking for a month. We did February instead of January. And like that really helps me cut those calories down too. Because I didn't realize until I started keeping track of my calories how much calories I consume in just liquid, whether it's juice or kombucha or, of course, my shake is my meal. But anyway.
Sue, that was definitely a great point. So it sounds like you need to maybe get more protein in. And if you are going to do liquid calories, have it be like a protein shake. So that way you're getting your protein in and it's good calories, get fruits and veggies in. So last and final lesson here for today, how to break habits. So we all talked about habits that we have that we want to break. Some come and go. Some days are better than the others, and that's okay. Habits can take 3 weeks to almost a year to break. It depends on what it is. It depends on the person. It just all depends. So you can easily break a habit. It might take longer to break a habit. You have to keep in mind though, some of these habits you've had probably all your life. So don't expect for it to just, since you try and you have that aspiration to stop doing this habit that's not serving your goals, that it's going to stop overnight. It's going to take a lot of practice. It's going to take consistency. It's going to take trial and error, which is okay because you have to adjust to your new lifestyle. So I don't want you to feel discouraged or get down on yourself for that. Just again, give yourself grace, allow yourself that time. And if something you do try does not work for you, try something else. Don't stop habits, replace them. So what do I mean by that? I'll use smoking as an example. So if you smoke and you want to stop smoking, you probably there's probably a trigger associated with that. It could be stress. It could be some people need to put their hand to their mouth. It's just, that's a thing as well. So maybe if you're stress smoking, figure out what's causing the stress for you to reach for that cigarette, for example. So replacing that habit of smoking with maybe going for a walk, maybe going for a jog, or drinking something that's not full of calories. So maybe like some fizzy water because you're putting your hand to your mouth, or maybe snack on something healthy. That's again, that hand to the mouth. Meditation if you're stressed. So find little things to replace your habits with. So then that way you're not continue that habit that you want to stop. And then you also replace that bad habit with a more healthier, productive habit. Do you truly want to change? This is a huge one. We have aspirations and goals, which is awesome, but deep down, do you really want to change that habit? If it's a no, that's absolutely fine. If it's a no for right now and you're like, maybe in 3 months I want to change it, that's fine too. Just be completely honest with yourself and say, do I really want to change this habit? If it's something that you need to change for health reasons, then write that down. If it's something that someone else is wanting you to do and you're not motivated at that moment, then maybe put a pin in that habit, that bad habit. So just think about that as well. So we're going to go into our last and final journal prompt. Which unhealthy habit do you want to hold on to and why? So it's okay if you have this habit that you want to hold on to, but why do you want to hold on to this habit? We're going to take 2 minutes, jot that down, and then we'll come back and chat about it for a little bit. A 30-second. All right. We all have these habits that we're not gonna stop. You might have one or two. So which ones are you holding on to that you don't want to give up? Who would like to share?
Occasionally I don't need to stay up so late. I need to try to get myself to bed at a more regular time, and then so I can be up earlier for my day. But occasionally it's like I just need to have my self time. I need to take the time to relax and read these things that I've wanted to look at, or to look at a movie. I don't hardly ever watch any TV, but there are things that I want to view, and it's like, take time to do that. You want to go back, you want to see these things. There's things on my PBS app that I've gotten about. So damn, I want to watch this damn movie, or I get this Kino Now, which is a movie thing that you can find out about movies. And yeah, I like to read. I want to watch that one before it's gone, or at least is out of my brain to think about it because it's not there any longer. So there is more for like a need for self time to kind of reward myself, as opposed to doing all other things that are needed for somebody else. And that's what we've talked about from the very beginning, is to put for yourself as well. And so there are times like that, okay, but on a general rule, yes, I need to get rid of it's an unhealthy one to stay up late, but I got to do it on the right day of the week too. I don't have to be up so early in the morning. But that's all I could come up with at the moment. I need to think it over more. I put think down 3 times.
Well, that's a good one, because I know that that's something that you've been saying from the beginning, is you staying up really late. And then now something new that I've heard you say is that you are essentially, that's your you time is at the end of the day when you should be going to sleep, right? So maybe
Yes.
prioritizing, like you said, start prioritizing yourself to have that time to sit down and watch your show or to read your article. So then that way, when it's time for you to, relax and unwind and go to bed, you can actually go to bed. Because I get that at the end of the day, it's when everyone else is going to sleep, that's kind of the time where, I can exhale, I can do the things that I want to do.
Yes.
But then at what cost? Now you're losing sleep, and in the morning you're groggy, you're tired, and like you stated earlier, that cycle just happens over and over and over again, and it's not serving you the way you want it to serve you.
Yes. I got to adjust the day schedule. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, put
Not
Laura
overschedule.
into that schedule.
Put one more thing in there. That's a priority.
Yes, Laura is a priority for sure.
Yes. Right.
Well, did you have anything before we close out, Carmencita?
No, I just gotta literally get to moving. Even past 5 minutes, I get full-blown migraine, so I tend not to move, but it's not productive. So my attitude now is I need to move. And just move, and hopefully don't go into the full-blown migraine. Otherwise, just take a lot more pills.
Does your mic, are they associated with a trigger? Like some people is light, some people is noise. Do you have a trigger?
All of those plus bending. I can't bend too far because I have spinal fluid issues also. So bending my head down to even tie my shoes is problematic. So I use a long shoehorn, and I don't tie my shoes at all. I just keep them tied.
Mm-hmm.
So after many surgeries and going back and forth between neurosurgery and neurologists, I just got comfortable being this way, unfortunately. And I won't say I'm comfortable. I had to adapt to being this way.
Gotcha.
So,
do lateral movements bother you at all, or up, down? Not bending over, but like standing, sitting, standing, sitting.
Not all the time, but sometimes I need to lay down flat just to let the spinal fluid build back up.
Okay.
So when I start feeling that way, I just know to sit my butt down.
Gotcha. Going through the Rolodex is some things that might help, like chair exercises, because you're going to be stable. You're not going to be moving a lot, and you could still do movements with arms and legs, and your torso would still be in a stable position.
Gotcha.
Word of the week is limitless, without end, limit, or boundary. So go forth, reach those goals, challenge yourself. go towards those aspirations that you have. Affirmation of the week is I am worthy of success, because you all are. Do not discount yourself. You are worthy of everything that you put out into the world. Next week topic is being unapologetic about your workout schedule. So, Laura, we just talked about putting yourself first, whether it's workout or just self-care. Let's work on next week. We're going to talk about putting yourself first, your workout schedule or your self-care, whatever it might be, and being unapologetic about it, because your time, your self-care is worth something. All right, ladies. Again, thank you for joining me. So we will meet next week at the same time, 11:15 a.m. Scan the QR code to send to another sister friend, invite them to come out and chat with us and aspire towards some more goals. And I will talk to you all later. Enjoy the rest of your week.